This video is brought to you by EvangelistaSports.com, Canada's largest online soccer retailer. Be sure to use coupon code SR4U at checkout for 10% off any order of $75 or more. Hey guys, Josh from SoccerReviewsForYou.com, bringing you a video today to give my first impressions plus just general thoughts on the brand new Samba Pack from Adidas. Now for those of you guys wondering, I'm hoping to have the new adiZeros as well as the new adiPure 11 Pros in as soon as this week, but they'll most likely be showing up early next week, so stay patient and I should have those videos up followed by the reviews as soon as possible. Now, the Samba Pack from Adidas sees the release of several new colorways, one of which being the Predator LZ2, which is now available in pink, and the Nitrocharge 1.0, which is now available in a lime green. These are just color updates and not what I'm going to be talking about in today's video. The second half of the Samba Pack is really where all the excitement is. As you guys probably know already, Adidas has released a brand new Adidas F50 adizero, which is arguably the most popular shoe coming from Adidas at this point in time, as well as a brand new adiPure 11 Pro, which has been due for an update for quite a while now. Now, the reason why I'm making this video is not just to talk about the technical specifications and the press releases from Adidas, but actually because I have some hands-on experience with the entire Samba Pack, including the new F50 and new adiPure 11 Pro. I had the opportunity to check these things out a little bit early, and while I haven't actually played in them, I did have the opportunity to hold them in my hand as well as try them on, so I do have a first-hand experience that I think most people don't have, and I wanted to talk about that in today's video. To start off with the new adizero, not much has changed in terms of the overall concept of the shoe. It's still designed to be as light as possible, with Adidas saying that this is the lightest version of the adizero thus far, and I definitely believe them, but I don't think the difference in weight is going to be all that significant going from the older model to the current model. It's still a lightweight shoe, and that's really the main takeaway here. But when you're talking about the overall design and what materials they've used to make up the shoe, they've changed it quite a bit, and it's probably the most drastic change to the adizero line that we've seen since it originally started in 2010. Now, the major difference this time around with the new adizero is I think Adidas is going to be putting more of an emphasis on the synthetic model as opposed to the leather model. Now, I'm going to flash a couple of pictures on screen, but for those of you guys that haven't seen pictures of the leather version of the new adizero, they've kind of taken a step backwards in my opinion. You can see that they've gone with a layout in the upper that is similar to the adizero My Coach 2, which to me was not the best leather model that Adidas put out. The leather barely spans past the forefoot. It almost lines up with the very bottom lace holes, if you guys can have a mental image there. And again, I will post a picture on the screen so you guys can see exactly what I'm talking about. And then the rest of the shoe is made from their speed foil material, which is ultra thin. It's pretty much translucent. You can see right through it. And it's going to, again, be an unbalanced feel, which was really the main problem that I've had with several versions of the adizero in leather, and that you're going to have that soft leather at the front of the shoe, Taurus calfskin leather to be exact, and then the middle part of the shoe, or the midfoot area, is going to be made from an ultra thin speed foil synthetic. So you're going to have kind of this combination of padded and ultra thin, which at the end of the day doesn't really make for an overall balanced feel, in my opinion at least. Now, when you're talking about the synthetic version, Adidas has ditched Sprint Skin Synthetic altogether, which to be fair has been improving year after year with every single new model of the adizero, but I think that the new Hypertouch Synthetic that they're using on the new adizero feels very, very good. It's a similar feel to what you're going to get from the Predator LZ2, obviously minus all the striking elements, but a lot thinner in that respect. It's super thin, it feels really good. It reminded me very much of the Tahitian synthetic used on the current Mercurial Vapor 9 with that artificial leather grain finish. And to me, it just felt very, very good, very soft, very thin, so you're going to get that nice barefoot feel on the ball. And the overall shape of the boot itself, to me, felt really good, much better than any of the past synthetic versions of the F50 adizero. So to me, what's going to be the more interesting model of the two is definitely going to be the synthetic version this time around. Of course, Adidas is putting emphasis on their speed foil material, which is basically more of a filler material where they're going to place in areas that aren't necessarily centralized around making touches on the ball. On the synthetic version, it's going to be mainly around the heel area, and basically it's just an ultra thin material that is pretty much mesh based with a fuse layer on top. That's why it's partly translucent. That's really just designed to be as lightweight as possible. And look good at the same time, and I think it's going to do that. But in terms of performance, I don't think that speed foil is really going to change the game anytime soon. And then of course the other major change to the adizero line is of course going to be the stud pattern. It still has the exact same sprint frame construction with that rounded off external heel counter, but the stud pattern in the forefoot area features bladed studs, or more bladed studs than what we've seen in the past, which I think is going to perform a lot better than the current generation stud patterns that we're seeing on pretty much all of the Adidas models. So I'm excited to try that out and see how it does perform. But other than that, guys, the new adizero definitely looks promising to me. The synthetic version to me is more attractive than the leather version, at least from what I've seen and from what I've tried on. But again, to each their own. People are still going to like the leather version, but to me, the one to look out for is definitely in the synthetic model. Now, the new adipure 11 Pro to me felt really good in hand. And again, because they haven't really changed the name, for the sake of comparison, we're going to call this the 11 Pro 2. Now, when I held it in my hand, of course, it still had that lightweight feel, which you come to expect from Adidas, and the Taurus leather upper that they used on this shoe still feels very, very soft. I would say it's a little bit thinner than the current 11 Pro, which is definitely a good thing, and it just feels very soft overall when I tried it on. It's a very comfortable shoe, and that's really what Adidas is trying to emphasize with the new 11 Pro model, is that it's designed around comfort, and I think you're definitely going to get that from the 11 Pro this time around, which is definitely a good thing. To me, the major improvement here is that the entire upper is now made from Taurus leather, as opposed to having a synthetic midfoot like you found on the 11 Pro, as well as the 11 Pro SL. So if you're looking for that more uniform leather touch across the entire foot, the new 11 Pro 2 is definitely going to provide that for you, which is definitely a good thing. As mentioned before, the Taurus leather or calfskin leather upper feels very soft, very high quality. It's not to the same degree of quality that you're going to get from the kangaroo leather on the Copa Mundial for comparison's sake, but it still feels very, very soft. And they're also talking about a memory foam insert kind of type of technology, I should say, in the upper itself, where somewhere in the upper there's memory foam inserts to create a more comfortable and slightly more controlled feel on the ball. It's something that is reminiscent to Mizuno's Hypertouch system that you're going to find on the Supersonic Wave series. And to me, that was a fantastic shoe. So I'm excited to see how the performance of the 11 Pro 2 is going to be with those memory foam inserts in a natural calfskin leather upper. To me, that's a very exciting feature. And like I said, I'm curious to see how it's going to perform. It definitely does make for a comfortable fit, as I mentioned, because I did have the opportunity to try these guys on. Now, another interesting feature of the 11 Pro is that it does not feature a sprint frame construction. Instead, Adidas is calling this the comfort frame, and again, the whole idea around the 11 Pro is to be as comfortable as possible. It does appear to have a slightly wider base and a slightly wider midfoot area, which will make this shoe hopefully more suitable for a wider variety of foot types, whereas the current 11 Pro definitely has a more snug fit through the midfoot, which I think is one of the reasons why a lot of people didn't like the shoe in the first place. Now, when you're talking about the comfort frame itself, one major difference between the comfort frame and the sprint frame is that it is not MyCoach compatible. There is no slot in the middle. It's completely smooth, which I thought was kind of an interesting idea from Adidas, especially considering that they included the MyCoach slot in the new version of the adizero. So some of their shoes will support MyCoach and other shoes will not. Obviously, that one being the 11 Pro 2. Now, the rest of the comfort frame itself is not made from what appears to be a standard TPU plastic. It almost had more of a nylon feel as a base plate, and then you had a stud plate over top, obviously including the new stud patterns, which is still those triangular studs found on the current generation of the Adidas lines anyways, but the studs themselves are a lot smaller in profile and there are more of them, so they should penetrate the ground more easily and hopefully allow for slightly better traction while also reducing any kind of stud pressure, which is one of the main points that Adidas was talking about in the press release. But that's pretty much it as far as the new 11 Pro 2 goes. Like I said, I'm very optimistic of this shoe. To me, it looked good, it felt good, and that's really all you can ask for. The purple color is not for everybody, but again, when is a colorway for everybody? So again, 11 Pro 2 definitely looking good so far. Alright guys, that's it for my first impressions and just overall thoughts on the new Adidas Samba Pack. As mentioned earlier, I'm very excited to get my hands on the new F50 and new 11 Pro models. They both seem to be definite improvements over the previous models, which is really all you can ask for. So again, I should be getting these shoes in as soon as next week, so expect to see those videos go up very, very shortly. Just stay patient and I will get them in as soon as I possibly can. If you guys do have any questions regarding the new Samba Pack, more specifically the new 11 Pro and new Adidas F50, like I said, I do have hands-on experience with both shoes, so if you do have any specific questions, be sure to leave those down below in the comments and I definitely will get an answer out to you. If you did enjoy today's video, be sure to support it with a like. Subscribe if you haven't already for daily videos on all the latest soccer gear. You can find all of my social media information down below in the description. And other than that, guys, hope you enjoyed today's video, and as always, thanks for watching.